Okay, as part of this project to bring traditional practices into our modern lifestyles, I'm going to talk a little bit about making bone broth, which is something I like to do every week. I'm going to talk a little bit about the what, why, and how of making bone broth. So, starting with the what, I usually use bones from grass-fed beef cows, but you can use bones from any animal really. But the important thing is to make sure that the animal's bones that you are using had a healthy diet. You want to start with good ingredients so that when you're going to extract minerals from these bones, you want to make sure that they're there. Okay. Make sure that your animal was healthy. So, so like I said, I usually use beef bones, and let's talk a little bit about why you might want to make bone broth. As crazy as that sounds, why not just use some broth from your local grocery store? Well, broth from your local grocery store is probably going to contain MSG and definitely not going to contain the nutrients that homemade bone broth will have. So let's say you decide to make homemade bone broth. What kind of benefits would that confer to you? Okay, so bone broth contains glycine and proline. These are amino acids, important amino acids, useful in the manufacture of glucose, enhancing gastric acid secretion, so helping with digestion, soft tissue and wound healing, healthy connective tissue, detox of the liver, production of plasma. So, like these amino acids are going to help with things like joint pain if you have GI distress, help with healthy skin, hair, and all that good stuff. So, how about the minerals? Bone broth is one of the richest sources of available usable calcium that you can get, and that's really important, especially if you are not taking in dairy like most of us paleo people are not doing. So calcium, phosphorus, and magnesium. So let's see. And I'm referencing the Nourishing Traditions book, which I think is an excellent book. Weston A. Price Foundation publishes it. Check it out. It's a really great all-inclusive guide for traditional cooking. So we talked about the what and the why. Let's talk about the how. So I did a how to make bone broth video, but I didn't really talk about what you do after it's done cooking. So what you're going to want to do immediately after it's done, after about 2 days simmering in the crock pot and extracting all these vitamins and minerals, you're going to want to strain it. That's getting out all the bones, all the extra little things that might have been attached to the bones, anything in the broth that's like a solid particle. So you do that. What you can do then is immediately start eating, or you can put it in the refrigerator and skim that layer of fat off that forms at the very top. There's going to be a thin layer of like white fat, and then underneath that, if you've made a really good broth, it's going to be like jello. And that just means that you've got a lot of gelatin in your broth, and it means it's very nutritious. Okay, so you can skim that layer of fat off, but really, why do that? I mean, if that fat is good for you, if it's from a grass-fed animal, it's going to be nutritious. So I usually don't do that. Okay, so let's say you don't take the fat layer off. You've got your broth sitting, getting ready to be consumed. Usually, taking it right out of the crock pot, the broth is going to be really, really like silky in texture, sort of. It's going to leave like a greasy feeling on your lips, and it might be hard to eat. So what I like to, or hard to drink, just because of the taste and the texture. So I like to pour a little bit of water in just to cool it down, and then flavor it with like parsley and salt. I don't add any vegetables while the bones are cooking in the crock pot. I I just don't want to bother with that. So, so cut it with a little bit of water, add some salt to taste, add some parsley, and then drink it. Drink it with every meal if you want. Drink it once a day. I like to try to drink it a cup once a day. So you skim your liquid, put it in a pot, let it cool down, put it in the fridge. I don't like to microwave bone broth. I like to just reheat it in a stainless steel pot on the counter. So scoop out some of the broth, uh, put it in a stainless steel pot, heat it up, serve it with breakfast. Enough for everybody in your family if you want. My youngest son really loves bone broth. My older one doesn't care for it. I don't force it on him. It's just on the table. If you want to eat it, eat it. If not, you're probably going to try it later because you're seeing mom and dad do it. So that's what, why, how. I try to make enough broth to last the whole week, so I usually use a 3 to 5 pound package of beef bones. This might cost you $5. And I think that this is a really economical thing for people in the paleo style of eating to do. Bone broth is shown to have a protein sparing effect, which means that it makes the protein that you consume go farther. You need to consume less protein when you're eating bone broth, so as well. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope this was helpful, useful information. I will include some links to an article that I think's pretty well written, and also a link to that book, Nourishing Traditions. So anyway, good luck. I hope you decide to take on making bone broth. It's a really nourishing food with lots of bioavailable minerals and amino acids. So good luck.